So that's all that is for 14.2. So I already did 1 through 5 for you. So this is 3. Should go pretty fast. And then I want you guys to finish 6 through 15. All right, so you're going to do that, and then you're going to do a little bit of analysis, because that's the main goal, all right? So I want you guys to do 14.9. And you're going to do number 2, all right? I don't know what happened to Claire Schumann's. Anyway, so you're going to do number 2, the Beethoven Sonata in G major. And if you have your book, there is a CD, track 82. Okay, so let's start with number 1 in assignment 14.9. Now I'm going to have you do number 2, but we're going to analyze number 1 together. So before we even start, we're in the key of D major. So this is the Bach Für deinen Thron tritt ich hier mit, whatever. But so we're analyzing Bach here. We're in the key of D major. So before we do anything, let's just get our D major scale out there. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. We can use this as a reference when we come across some secondary dominants. All right, so first key, or first chord we've got here, we've got D, F, A, so 1 chord. D is in the tonic, so it's going to be in root position. Next one, we've got a B, D, and if you want to count up here, that's an F. All right, so we've got B, D, F, which, if you look here, that's the 6th scale degree. So we've got a 6, and again, B's on the bottom, so tonic. All right, so far so good. And this just ties into this chord, so it's going to be over 2 beats. So you've got B and D. Now we move on to the next full chord, which is, it looks like we still have our F, right? So it's going to be an F, A, C, and we have it confirmed because F is on the bottom here. So F, and it's going to be an F sharp, right? So F sharp in the key of D major, it's the 3. So 1, 2, 3. So far so good. We don't have any weird accidentals or anything. That's usually a sign of a secondary dominant or secondary leading tone chord. All right, so next one, we have a G, B, D, and here's G. So G's on the bottom, G, B, D, which is of course a 4 chord. So we're just going to label it 4. And it's major. And then this G just falls right into this chord, right? So this B, so it's G, B, D. If it falls into the chord, don't worry about it. Next chord, we have D, D, F, A. So we're back to 1. Cool. Next chord, we've got, let's see, we've got a G, B, D, there's a D and an F, so it's going to be B, D, and F, like that. All right, so our B chord, it's going to be another 6. All right, and then we have, let's see, we've got G, B, and E, so E, G, B. And E, G, B is going to be a 2 chord, right? So come down here, 2 chord, E, G, B. Not uncommon. Here we've got A, C, and another A. All right, so that is going to be the 5th. This is our first dominant chord, 5th and D. So far, we don't have any weird accidentals, so everything, there's no secondary dominants to worry about yet. Yet being the key word. All right, now here we have D, D, A, and F, so that's going to shape up to be a D, F, A, just like that. So one chord, and D's in the bottom, root position, so we're good to go. So no inversions to worry about. It's actually really nice. Let's see. Oh wait, there's got to be one back here. That's a G. E, G, B. Sorry, that's a 2-6. My bad. E, C, E, B. Yeah. All right, the rest are okay. So that's a 2-6 chord, right? Because our G, we've got E, G, B. E's on top right there, and our bass note is the G, which is the 3rd of the chord. That's going to put it into first inversion, right? Now here, we've got something weird, an A sharp. What the heck? All right, so we know that this has to be something. This is a secondary dominant. It's got secondary dominant or a secondary leading tone written all over it. So let's figure out what this chord is first. So we've got C, F, another C, and an A sharp, all right? So we've got F sharp, A sharp, and C sharp in its root position, all right? So major chord, so it's not diminished, it's not that, so we know we can cancel out that it's a secondary leading tone and go with secondary dominant since it's showing itself as a major chord. So from here, we're going to take this F sharp, since that's the root of the chord, all right? And let's go over here and see how this F sharp matches up. All right, so it's got to work as the 5th of something. So we're going to find our F sharp right here. And we're going to trace along. So between D and F sharp, no. E and F sharp, no. F sharp and F sharp, no, that's an octave. G and F sharp, that's a 7th. A and F sharp, 6th, it's getting closer. Oh, here we go. So between the B and the F sharp, that's the 5th, right? So this F sharp, we're going to transport into, temporarily, the key of B minor. All right, so let's move that over here. B minor. So we've got B, C sharp, B natural, E, F sharp, G, A, and B, all right? So the relative major, if we really need to find the key signature, B natural minor shares a key signature with actually D major, all right? So they're each other's relative minor, which is actually pretty convenient. So we don't actually have to change anything. However, we're using the harmonic and melodic version of the scale, not the natural version. So we've got to add G sharp and A sharp, just like that, all right? So now let's figure this out. So we're in the key of B minor, and we're looking for the 5th. So we've got 1, 2, 3. We already know that this is going to be 6, right? So we already know it's the 6th. So it's the something of 6. We suspect that it's the 5th. So now we're going to find this F sharp, and lo and behold, check that out. F sharp, and if we take this guy, make him the tonic of the chord, we've got F sharp, A sharp, because we're in the melodic or harmonic form, and then C sharp, which naturally falls in the key signature. All right, so that's the fifth of 6. All right, so we're gonna have, and it's just a triad, so we don't have to do anything special like 5, 7. Also, F sharp is the tonic, all right? And here we've got the A sharp, so it's a little more complicated. So in our chord, where does the A sharp sit? It sits in the 3rd spot, right? So that's going to tell us that this is not just a secondary dominant, but it's a secondary dominant in 1st inversion, all right? So it's going to be 5, 6 of 6, just like that, all right? Now, I can bet you're my bottom dollar that this is going to resolve to a 6 chord, but let's double check. So we've got B, an F, a B, and a D. All right, so we've got B, D, F in root position. All right, and our B chord is, of course, the 6th. So it resolves just like it's supposed to a 6. Bam, just like that. All right, now keep going. Now this A right here, it's not something to be alarmed. It's more of a courtesy to remind you that since we just played A sharp, we're back to A natural, all right? So that's just a courtesy natural. Doesn't change the key signature because we already just naturally have A natural in the key signature. All right, so let's keep going. I'm gonna erase this. It's a little sloppy. All right, so here, let's just find out what this chord is. We've got a B, a D, F, and that looks like, and an A, an A on top. So we've got B, D, F, A. So it's a 7th chord. Woohoo! All right, and notice the note that's on the bottom, the bass note, is the 7th of the chord. So here we've got, so it starts on B, so we're still in the 6, so it's still a 6th chord, but now it's in the form of a 7th. So we're going to call this 6, 4, 2 to indicate that it's not a triad, it's the 7th chord. So it's the 6th Roman numeral with 4 notes in the chord. All right, now here's another accidental. We've got a G sharp, which is not in the key of D major. So here's another sort of red flag, probably some sort of secondary dominant, all right? So let's first figure out what's in our, what all is in our chord, get it into root position. So we've got B, E, a D, and a G sharp. So we've got E, G sharp, B, and D, all right? So let's see what that turns out to be. So we've got E, sounds like a dominant 7th chord. All right, so we know it's probably a secondary dominant, not a leading tone. It's a major minor chord, or dominant 7th chord in its traditional display. All right, so we're gonna look at this E, we're gonna go back, get rid of this F sharp. E is our tonic in this chord, right, or our bass note, and the tonic of whatever this is, whatever we're gonna call it. So we find our E, and then we're gonna go along and wait until we find the 5th. So here we've got an octave, a 7th, a 6th. Here we go, there's our 5th. All right? So we've got the 5, we're at A. All right, so now we're gonna take this temporary key signature of A major. We call it major because the 5 is a major chord, right?